you arrive on Earth as the weakest mammal in the forest. Soft skull, useless legs, empty hands, and a scream that advertises your location to every predator nearby. You cannot crawl away. You cannot explain pain. You cannot warm yourself when the night turns cold. Yet every person alive today is proof that a ridiculous miracle kept repeating. Behind you is an unbroken chain of babies who should have been easy to lose, but somehow were not. That chain stretches through ice, drought, hunger, infection, predators, and nights without walls. If one infant in your direct line had slipped through that net just once, the story stops before it reaches you. So this is not a question about prehistoric parenting. It is a question about why you exist. And the answer is not one heroic mother doing everything alone. The real answer is stranger, warmer, and far more intelligent than that. Begin with the unfair design of the human newborn. Many animals arrive with a starter kit. Foals stand within hours. Chimp babies grip fur almost immediately. Human babies arrive like unfinished software. Their heads are large, their necks are weak, and their brains are still under construction. Why would evolution allow something that helpless? Because our species made a bargain with the skull. The human brain became so large that waiting longer inside the womb would make delivery impossible. So evolution chose an uncomfortable compromise. Birth happens early, and development is finished outside the body. A newborn human brain is roughly a quarter of adult size. That means humans complete an enormous amount of brain building in public, in the cold, in the middle of danger. The baby is not independent because the baby was never meant to be. Human reproduction was always a group project written into biology. People say it takes a village to raise a child, and it often sounds sentimental. In deep human history, it was not sentimental at all. It was survival math. Anthropologists call this cooperative breeding, the basic idea being that human mothers were never the only caregivers. Carrying, feeding, watching, and comforting were spread across the group. Grandmothers, fathers, older siblings, aunts, and trusted neighbors all shared the load. Grandmothers were especially powerful. One major idea in anthropology argues that long post-reproductive life in women may have been favored precisely because experienced older women increased grandchildren's chances of survival. The person who was no longer having babies could still shape the future by finding food, recognizing illness, calming conflict, and carrying toddlers. The library was not a building. It was a grandmother. Older children watched younger ones. Men carried infants and brought food. The ancient home was not a sealed apartment with one exhausted adult. It was a web. A baby survived inside a circle, not a room. For most of human history, breastfeeding continued for years 2, 3, sometimes 4. This was not a lifestyle choice. It was calories, immune support, hydration, and comfort rolled into one behavior. Frequent nursing also naturally spaced births, which mattered enormously. Imagine chasing a 1-year-old across rocky ground while carrying a newborn while also gathering food. The body understood what spreadsheets could not. Survival improves when the next baby waits. When a mother died or lost milk, another lactating woman often stepped in. Shared feeding strengthened bonds and reduced the chance that one unlucky day ended a lineage. What looks intimate and personal was also social infrastructure. The child was kept alive by overlapping backups. One caregiver tired, another stepped in. One food source failed, another helped. One pair of eyes looked away, another noticed the snake. Human infants are built for contact. Their hands clamp down with a reflex that hints at an older world of clinging. Their nervous systems calm with heartbeat, warmth, and movement. A carried infant cries less not because it has been tricked, but because its body is receiving the signal it evolved to expect you are not alone. Crying, from an evolutionary view, is an alarm. For a helpless primate in the open, separation means danger. Ancient caregivers responded because silence was not the goal. Safety was. At night, contact continued. For most of human history, children did not sleep alone. Separate nurseries are historically recent not because babies evolved to need distance, but because houses, medicine, and cultural ideas changed. The ancestral night was not lonely. It breathed. Eventually, milk was not enough, and ancient kitchens contained no blenders or sterilized pouches. Adults often chewed food first, softening tough meat and roots into something a toothless infant could swallow. It introduced flavors. It shared calories. Before baby food came in jars, it came through someone who cared enough to chew. Even with all of this care, many ancient children died. Infection, dehydration, injury, and famine could take lives quickly. Ancient caregivers did not fail because they lacked love. They lacked vaccines, antibiotics, and germ theory. Their affection was enormous, but their tools were limited. Still, they were not helpless. They watched patterns. They remembered remedies. They used ritual to organize grief, assign roles, and tell the group this child has entered our circle. Love is older than writing, and so is mourning. Here is the twist that matters today. Modern medicine is a triumph. Clean water, vaccination, and neonatal care have saved more children than any ancestral practice ever could. But if we separate medicine from social care, we miss something important. The extended care network has quietly collapsed. Many parents now raise children far from grandparents, cousins, and neighbors. A baby who once had 10 familiar arms may now have 2 exhausted ones. This is not an attack on parents. Parents today carry impossible expectations inside systems that offer very little help. The ancient lesson is not that parents are weaker now. It is that the village got dismantled and the job stayed the same. Human babies still arrive expecting arms, warmth, and quick response. Human parents still need relief, sleep, and other adults who notice when they are near the edge. Our gadgets changed quickly. Our nervous systems did not. So how did ancient humans keep fragile children alive? They carried them against warm bodies. They nursed them for long seasons. They slept within reach. They softened food by hand. They distributed care so that no single adult was the only wall between a baby and danger. The oldest childcare technology was never a crib, a bottle, or a toy. It was another human being close enough to notice. You are not here because your ancestors were invincible. You are here because, again and again, somebody heard a cry and did not look away. Across thousands of generations, the smallest human beings survived inside webs of attention. If this changed the way you see childhood, like this video for Winds of Thought, because the secret was never that ancient babies were tougher. The secret was that ancient adults were rarely alone.